Shalom everyone, and welcome to Smoking Truth TV. This is show number 10, and the title for this video is The Diary of My Mind's Eye. Some of you may already know I'm more of a writer than a YouTuber, and to be honest I dislike the sound of my voice due to the surgery I have had over the last few years, but I carry on making videos and learn as I go along, as I believe it helps to make me grow. I mainly make videos for myself really, and it's a good way of looking back and reflecting on what I have learnt so far. But I am also pleased that I have reached some people that find my videos interesting, and who knows, maybe I have helped at least one person in starting to find the truth in this world. So I thought I would share with you all some more of my books I have been working on over the last couple of years. The working title for these books at the moment are The Diary of an INFJ with a Passion for the Truth 2021 ? A year on. Yes, I know it's a bit of a long title, but it captures everything that these books are about, but who knows, I may be inclined to change the title at a later date. Like I touched on in the last video, I stand alone in my faith of walk of life and dislike being around, shall we say, normal people, and the time 2019 came along, I had already started writing my first book, that's currently entitled Searching for Truth and Standing Firm on What Is, where I had already set up camp in the wilderness of my mind. I started writing my second book in December 2020, and with all the things I was discovering, I just couldn't stop writing, and I knew this book would have to be split into two books, and as a result, this one came out to be 296 pages. And the second part to this book, Book 3, came out to be 320 pages long, so as you can see, I kinda had a lot to say. I have already put the first 5 chapters of my first book entitled Searching for Truth and Standing Firm on What Is on my YouTube channel, and I may do some more readings for that book in the future. But for today, as a teaser, I thought it would be nice to just kick back, relax with a nice hot cup of coffee and read you the introduction and the first entry from my second book, and if it all goes well, I may start posting book 2 and 3 as a series on their own. But before we start, I would just like to add, some words have been changed for this reading today, as YouTube and their team don't seem to like certain words being used on their platform, as many of you already know. So when them words come up, I will be using alternative words to describe what I'm saying. Anyway, that's enough rambling from me, let's dive in. The Diary of an INFJ with a Passion for the Truth, 2021, a year on. Book 2, Part 1. To the reader, I hope that this book can give you some inspiration and encouragement to know that you are not alone in the world, and that there are many of us that are walking among you who are trying to let their light shine. So be strong and mindful and always seek the truth for yourselves. Introduction. This is a continuation of my first book, Searching for Truth and Standing Firm on What Is, but there is a difference between them as both are not entirely the same. With the first book, Searching for Truth and Standing Firm on What Is, I wanted to lay out what I had found already on my journey so far, and to be able to put it into a readable format for all to understand, where with this book I took a different approach. Instead, I wrote day-to-day composites of everyday events regarding the media, governments and the coded lies, mixed in with a ton of his story of history along the way. I will also demonstrate my own personal thoughts and working outs as we continue to plough through the lies of deception on this roller coaster of tyranny that seems to have taken over our once but peaceful, busy lives. But was all this meant to be? And did some people already know this was going to happen? And if so, who were they? I'm sure if we stick to trying to find the truth, the answers will become clear, but once they do, you will begin to understand that this has been planned for a very long time, and in the end, the only way you will find that out for sure is by just stepping outside your front door with your newly opened eyes and ears. The scriptures I have used in this book not only comes from the King James Bible, because as you will find, I have also mentioned other Bibles and scriptures as well. For instance, the Book of Yahweh, the Scripture Bible, the Book of Enoch, along with the Sefer Bible are but a few that you will find within this book. Some people may question this orthodox way of finding the truth, but as we know already, we are to prove all things and to stand fast on which is true and good. So with that all being said, let's dive into the mind of an INFJ. Diary entry 30th of the 12th, 2020, ? I say 30th of the 12th, 2020 with a question mark because we still don't really know what the date is or the times we live in. So much has happened over the last few weeks, I just can't seem to catch up with everything. I have finished writing my first book, Searching for Truth and Standing Firm on What Is, and I'm waiting to have it edited so I can release it. I have also started to put another book together for when I've finished this one. Well, I have a title and chapter list typed up at the moment, but I've had my head in books lately. Reason being is to gather all the information I need to put it all together, as well as tracking down some websites and video content on these subjects I have. I don't know how you're all coping with this COVID thing, but for me, I still haven't worn a mask and I still haven't complied with the propaganda machine. I still carry on as normal as I can, while I continue to try and wake people up from this nonsense. The surprising thing to me about all this is, the news keeps telling us that the R rate is up to 1.5%, but what they don't make clear is, what that means is 1.5% out of 100. So wouldn't that also mean that the chances of catching the PSYOP virus is 1.5% out of 100? So to round it all up and to make it clear, it would mean there is a 98.5% chance of you not catching the virus, and also a 98.5% chance of you surviving the flu. Oh sorry, I mean the PSYOP virus. So why would we need a liquid spike for something with such teeny numbers? And why was it when we first heard about this PSYOP virus, we were shown videos and footage from China with people falling down dead in the streets? This is when it was called a pandemic. A pandemic, hey? Pan equals trans people, demic equals demons or demonic, so with that being said, do we have a bunch of demonic trans people running about? Kinda looks that way, doesn't it, with everyone gimped up wearing their masks? Anyway, we are now a year on into this PSYOP thing, and I still, to this day, haven't seen a single person fall down dead in the street. And weirdly enough, everyone in my town and surrounding villages are all still alive. Kinda weird, wouldn't you say? Not really, as this has been happening for hundreds of years and it's called the seasonal flu or common cold, mostly brought on by toxins in your body, but also temperature changes can play a factor as well as humidity. You see, when your body starts to heal itself, it excretes toxins like sweats, runny nose, shivers, even vomiting. Just look into the meaning of Persian for more information, or ask them crazy people who drink that ayahuasca poison. But to be honest, these are baby steps into questioning the obvious. But still, we have no answers to them questions. So let's take it a bit further, shall we? If every virus has to be isolated and tested on to then be said to be a virus, then where is the evidence of this PSYOP virus? Because as I just said, we are now a year on into this pandemic and the so-called virus has never been tested, never been isolated, and more importantly, never been identified. So if all these things haven't been done and proven, then how come all the people still believe in the PSYOP virus? On top of that, how can it be said that there is a stronger strain of it, or another strain at all for that matter, when the first one has never been identified, isolated, tested, or even proven? We was also told a few months back that the UK was going to put the PSYOP virus and the flu cases in together and count them both together as the R-rate infections. So with the numbers they have been pumping out over the last few days can't be accurate anyway, due to the mixing of the supposable virus and the flu type cases. But let's dig even more deeper, shall we? Now this is most probably the biggest shocker of all. You know them test kits that they're using on people? Well, the inventor of the PCR test, named Kary Mullis, said back in 1983 this PCR test is only meant to be used for DNA amplification and not to use to indicate infections or viruses. He strictly said it's not to be used to detect anything else, as the result will be severely inaccurate, up to 70 to 80%. Well, what do you know, with all the testing that has been done, would it now mean that at least 70% are now false positives? And that would also mean that 30% of the people who have tested positive would have been for some kind of flu or cold they have or did have. So how can this test kit then detect if you have this mystical virus active in your body, especially when it's never been verified or isolated? But even if we take that 70% and take that away from the 1.5% the TV people are telling you it is, that will then leave you with a reading of 0.45%. Shouldn't the official news story read, the chances of catching this virus is less than 1%, meaning that there is a 99% chance of you not catching it, and if you did catch it, your chances of survival is 99%. So my question to anyone reading this, how can I, or how am I meant to function properly in a world that is filled with people who can't think or question things for themselves? I already get chastised for my relationship I have with Yahweh and Yeshua while also reading the scriptures as it is, but now with this PSYOP thing, the weight is getting too heavy to bear, because people are so quick to tell me how wrong I am about it all, when themselves have done little to no research into these subjects. But the most frustrating thing about it all is, they have no information or no clue to what to say to you when you start firing facts and truths at them. All they can do is parrot the tell lies in vision, maybe get mad at you, then they just get up, turn away and do the walk of shame. But I guess the saddest thing about it all is, there are many people alone in this world that are isolated, either in fear of the PSYOP scandal or who are alone like me, because we know the truth, yet no one will listen to us. Over the last few months I've been hearing, reading and watching documentaries regarding the name Jesus Christ, and it not being his actual name. I had already come to some sort of conclusion myself, but after finding out a few more things, it became clearer to me that I was onto something, and soon become apparent that I was heading up the right path. The name appears to translate back to the god Zeus, and seems to be linked to the Zeitgeist heist. Best to watch the debunked Zeitgeist, as you won't get led down the wrong path. A YouTuber going by Witsit Gets It has done a great video on the subject. People seem to get upset when I talk about this, but what I do know for sure, there is power in the belief of the Creator's Son, so when you don't know his real name but use Jesus because of unknowingly knowing his name, I believe he still hears you and helps you. I've used the name Jesus Christ before, but I have felt led to do more investigations on the subject, as I feel it is important for us to know the Father as well as his only begotten Son. There is so many of the undead walking the streets lately, including loved ones and friends, that I will never get a chance to speak to about any of these things, due to them being completely controlled and manipulated by the SS. Sorry, I call the SS Satan's system. I have tried to warn as many people as possible about the lies of this world, but sadly in doing so, I have lost so many family and friends along the way that I can now count on my right hand the people I can have these kind of conversations with, and these are the only people I have regular contact with, mainly because it breaks my heart to see others suffering and living their lives in a state of lies and fear. But again, if I try to warn them about anything, all it does is bring ill feelings. So isn't it best to be alone in the truth instead of living inside a lie? Getting a bit dark now, so let's lighten things up a little. Back in the summer of 2020, I started to notice all the bullying and fines coming from the police regarding face masks and social distance. The police were roaming around the parks and outside superstores harassing all ages of people. It started to make me think, does the police even have a brain, or are they just following orders? Anyway, I wrote police down on a piece of paper, then came up with this. Puppetized, oppressed, low IQ, corrupt enforcement. Anyway, that was back in June or July of 2020. I can't recall the exact date, but it wasn't until late December when I was watching a video on YouTube and the conversation came up regarding police officers, and that their IQs are no higher than 105. What? That I didn't know, so I stopped the video and went to search this up for myself. To do this, all you have to do is type in the search engine IQ policeman, and sure enough, there is all the information. It states an average IQ for a policeman or policewoman is between 90 and 104. Kind of disturbing really to know, because are we not meant to put all our trust in the police, and are they not meant to be there to serve and to help the public? From what I can tell, going from their attitude lately, they seem to be no other than controlled bullies following orders from the corrupt governments. So where does that leave me if I get arrested? Because I have an IQ of 137 plus. How are these people going to understand a word I'm talking about? And furthermore, what are they going to try and tell me? Because whatever they do tell me, I will know it to be wrong, so it leaves them in an awkward position. Why them, you may ask? Well, the answer is very clear. For one, I have Yeshua on my side, and two, I have Yahweh the Father and His truth. But do you want to know what the funny thing is about the truth? The truth will always win, even when the opposing opposition think that they have the upper hand. But they still won't understand that they have been defeated, and they will be left in the dark and left at the wayside as they turn to fables. End of entry. So as you can probably tell, this book as well as the following book are based on my personal journey into researching while discovering that we have been lied to. And as you will also discover, if you read these books, I start to unveil the truth regarding the true calendar. The calendar seems so simple to me now, but during my research I went down so many rabbit holes and tried to look at all the information I could get my hands on. At the end of the day, I don't know when or if I will ever release any of these books, due to the ever increasing learning of knowledge and quest that I'm on. To be honest, I'm still tinkering with the first book, either adding to it and making slight changes. I mean, I don't want to be responsible for putting out a book that may contain some false information. I don't know, I guess I'm rambling again, so I think I should probably stop there for today. So if you have enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, and please also subscribe for future content. And please let me know in the comments below if you have enjoyed this kind of content and would like to hear more. My next video I'm currently working on is a little different too, and if you're into simple gematria, I think you're going to enjoy it. I won't give too much away, but as always, when I have a title for it, I will post it up in the community feed. Take care out there people while you walk on the battlefield of life, and as always, never stop searching for the truth.